I've always told my team that it's not about us, it's about God's work. And I always share with our team that if I'm not here, the show goes on without me. And so in 2008, actually in 2007, I was diagnosed and healed from breast cancer. Right after I finished my chemo and radiation treatment, I underwent surgery. And unfortunately, because the surgery was done so quickly after my treatment, my body went into septic shock. And as a result, I spent 2.5 months in the hospital. I almost died like 5 times. And God really, really showed out and protected me and healed me from that. While I was in the hospital, the team went on. I was blessed by the fact that God preserved the program through that time. The team leaders stepped up to the plate and they got it done, and we didn't miss a beat that whole time. I think the biggest blessing that I received was my kids here in church praying for me, and they weren't able to all go to my room at the hospital. And so they cut out hands and they put their prayers on those hands. And then the delegation of them that were able to come to the room, they laid the hands on me and they prayed for me. They did, not the adults. And I think that is the biggest blessing to me, because as I sowed into their lives, God turned that around and it was able to bless me. I have no question in my heart that the reason why I'm here now is because those young people believed for me. And so people that hear this or watch this have to know that when God calls you to ministry, those things that you're called to do, God in His awesome way turns them around to bless you.
When she first got sick and she was out, we knew that she wanted us to continue. She had always trained us and prepared us that this ministry is not her ministry, that it's the Lord's ministry. And every teaching, every philosophy, every doctrine that she taught us as associated with King's Kids was about the ministry, not about any individual person. So when she was out, we were able to take everything that she taught us and put into practice. She had developed a curriculum. She had developed a way of teaching and conducting King's Kids that we were able to just implement everything that she had taught us. And although we didn't have her essence, we had her spirit, and we presented that, and the Lord's message flowed through, and we were able to continue the teachings that we were taught to do.
Because she's such a great leader, she was able to mentor us in a way that we were able to cover for her.
I have found that for the young people as they grow older, statistics are against them for leaving the church. And we have to find a way to make Christianity relevant, not just to Christians, but to the unchurched. We go out and we get community kids to come to our program. We actually bus them in. And those young people are unchurched and they don't know anything about God. And quite frankly, they're not interested in God as the creator so much. They're interested on how they can get food on their tables because their mother is out of work and she doesn't know where the next meal is going to come from. That is what the Lord called us to do. He called us not to just sit in church and have a good time, but to actually get up and go out and get the lost and bring them in. And so if we're going to make it relevant for them, we have to share the good news with them. What is the good news? That you don't have to be hungry. You don't have to be worried. You can rely on a God who has the power to make whatever you need happen.
Cookie, Nicole is her name, but we call her Cookie, right, Cookie? And she is our longest community member that we've had. She came to us from our very first outreach, and she's been here 3.5 years already, right, Cookie?
Yeah.
And how old are you, Cookie? Tell her.
13.
15?
13.
13, that's right, 13. And Cookie, do you like coming here?
Yeah.
Sometimes when we've not been able to go out, like when I was in the hospital, Cookie's grandmother called us and wanted to know where we were because Cookie was wanting to come, right, Cookie?
Yeah.
And Cookie has fun. Do you have fun?
Yeah.
Yes. And have you learned a lot about Jesus, Cookie?
Yes.
Yes.
What,
We love Cookie.
what do you like about coming here?
Playing.
Playing. You're not supposed to play in church.
Oh, yes.
The young people out there in the community, unlike the popular belief, are eager to have a place where they can come and be loved. We don't have a lot of technology. We don't have a lot of like video games and, awesome Disney type productions or anything like that. And I asked the Lord, why do these young people from the community want to come here? Because we really don't have a lot of, glitzy things. And the Lord told me that we have one thing that they lack and need desperately. And that's just a place where people will love them and accept them for who they are and not judge them because perhaps they don't have the latest clothes to wear, or perhaps they are a little smelly and a little dungy, but we love them anyway. And a hug from one of my leaders to one of them is priceless. When we first started the program, we were getting churched kids with unchurched kids, and we found there was a great divide between the two. And so we started the Tribe program in an effort to close that divide and to have the kids form relationships one with the other. Bringing the two together, we found that there were a lot of factors that we didn't take into consideration, and that was one of them, that they really don't have anything in common one with the other. Well, as an adult, a lot of us hesitate to share the gospel with people that we don't have anything in common with. And I think that stops us a lot of times. We're training a new generation to be able to handle that little problem in a way to where they're effective, even though they're with someone that they don't have anything in common with and that they might have the fear of being rejected by. I believe that's what we bring to the table. Do we have to have a large budget? No, we do not. We didn't when we first started. God has blessed the program, and people have stepped up to the plate and have given monies. But when we first started, we didn't have a large budget. We didn't have a lot of workers. We didn't even have a lot of kids. But I believe that if you're willing to step out on faith, that God honors that.
Miss Nancy has taught me so much, and she's taught me to have patience and to not worry about what others think of me.
She hears the voice of God and she does what he says, and she doesn't question it, and she's just, she's an amazing woman of God.
As a young person, I was baptized in the church at about 11 or 12 years old, and I remember it well, but I never knew why or any of the foundational truths about it. I just did it because my friends were doing it, and my parents told me it was time for me to do it, and so I did. Imagine my surprise when I got born again about 35 years later that the reason for baptism. And so in King's Kids, we train the children to learn why they are being baptized, what baptism is, and what baptism is not. We teach them that baptism in and of itself is not salvation. It's an outward expression of what's happened in their hearts. I liken it to a wedding versus falling in love. You fall in love with someone, he asks you to marry him, and then you have the wedding. You don't fall in love on your wedding day, it's already happened. And so when the children are baptized here in King's Kids, they are well aware of what is happening and why it's happening. And I'm assured that when they are baptized here in King's Kids, they're not just simply doing it because their friends are doing it. They're doing it because they want the world to know that they have given their hearts to the Lord Jesus Christ. If I have a message to people, it would be to be willing to be used of God. You have to be willing to make that shift from inside of the boat to out into the water. So I just want people to not be afraid or fearful that when God says do this, He'll equip you to do it.
We hope that you've been blessed by this special message from Life-Changing Christian Centers. Please contact us by telephone at area code 352-383-4100 or send us an email at media@lcccSDA.com. We look forward to seeing you real soon at one of our 8 Central Florida campuses and venues, right here at Life-Changing Christian Center, helping people find their way back to God.